What's up, guys? It is Colt Wheeler. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of guitar manufacturers. Thought it'd be fun to check out some of the greatest guitar builders in the country and in the world, for that matter, and give you my little thoughts on each one, which one's really good for country music, as that's what we talk about mostly here on this channel. But let's dive into it. Let's go over to our tier maker list. Look at that. All right. Actually, let's slide that over just a little bit, just so it's a little bit more consistent and aesthetically pleasing. So before we get started, let's talk about the tier list, right? So F, obviously that means it's terrible. It fails. It either can't hold tune very well. It has sharp frets. It just doesn't make music. I don't like it at all. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of those on this list today, but just in case, we have it here for failure. D's are going to be kind of those like, yeah, it's a guitar. It's not my favorite guitar. It's not a great guitar, but it can play music. Maybe it has some tuning issues, but maybe it's not like terrible, right? C is going to be, yeah, like, they're okay. It might also be kind of, C's more of my, like, I really don't know a whole lot much about them, or the ones that I have known or have played have been their cheaper models, and it's not fair to compare them against their, like, premier versions of them, because I just haven't got my hands on them. So C is kind of the unknown area. B is going to be like really good value for like what you pay. And it might not be the best of the best, and it might not be like the gold standard, but like they're really good. They're good guitars. A is the gold standard. Gold standard, like this is what guitars should be compared to. And then S is going to be like your like bona fide, like, oh my God, this is amazing guitar. So with that said, let's get on to the list. First on the list we have is Alpine guitars. Now Alpine guitars, they're kind of known for like the Jack White guitar, like, that red and white kind of candy era, Jack White, the white stripes guitars. I don't know anything else about Alpine guitars. And Jack White, up until recently, is kind of known for playing beat up, kind of like plastic guitars. If you ever watched that documentary, It Might Get Loud, he talks about this Alpine guitar, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of a toy almost. So I'm going to put Alpine at D. I don't know any more Alpines besides that, so sorry if you're a fan of Alpine and Jack White's, but I'm going to put Alpine as D. Next on the list, we have BC Rich. Now, BC Rich guitars, they are very metal focused. I know a lot of BC Rich guitars. I've always seen like Slash play like the BC Rich Warlock. If it's good enough for Slash, I think it's a pretty good guitar, I would think, at least. Now, other than that, like, maybe not Warlock, maybe it's the Mockingbird. Maybe it's called the Mockingbird. Let me know in the comments below which one it is. I've played a few BC Riches, and they weren't bad. They weren't great either. I'm going to put it C. Breedlove. Breedlove, for what I know, is an acoustic guitar company. Very cool, very inexpensive, I think. It's not going to be up there with like the Taylor and the Martin inexpensive versions for that price range, but they're pretty good. I'm going to put it here at C with BC Rich, and maybe even, can you do that? You can't. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Anyways, just know C. There's no like straight order. Like there's no like within C, this is better than the other. It's too complicated. You know what I'm talking about. Martin guitars. Martin guitars are the pinnacle of acoustic guitars. I'm going to put them as A. For obvious reasons, they're going to be up very high amongst the list. I don't want to put them up at S because I'm saving S for like God tier. Like A is like A is the golden standard. Let's put it that way. A is the golden standard, and then S is like above and beyond. So Martin guitars, A. Chapman guitars. There have been some controversies over this lately. I've played a few. They look pretty cool to me. See? The few that I've played, I mean, I haven't played the British made. I've only played the Taiwanese or Vietnamese or Indonesian ones, wherever they make them. I can't remember. But from what I played of those, they were good. They weren't terrible, but they were good. They were good. All right, so next up we have Charvel. Now Charvel has been bought by Gibson recently. Maybe I say recently, but within like the past 5 years, I believe. Now every Charvel that I've played at a Guitar Center, because that's the only place I can find them is Guitar Center. They don't have them at my local shops. The only guitars that I've played at the Charvels are at Guitar Center, and they're like less than $200 or $200, around $200. They're not great. I know, like, back in like the 80s, like Charvels were like pristine. Like Eddie Van Halen had like a line with them and a deal with them, but like Charvels in 2023, it's D, man. I'm borderline putting on an F. But they do play. I mean, and they do sound good. It's like Gibson's. Like Gibson's has that unique sound. Charvels have that 80s sound. Like if that's what you're going for, it does the sound well. I don't think you'll. I don't know. Maybe there's some higher end Charvels that I should be looking at, but Charvels, there you go. Next up is Collings guitars. Now Collings guitars are known for building high end models or versions of Gibsons. I've played a few Collings guitars and they have been nothing short of fantastic and superior in every single way, both in sound and playability and tuning stability than Gibson. So I'm going to put that as our first S tier. They're fantastic. If you ever get a chance to play one because they will blow your mind. You're like, screw Gibson. They're also extremely expensive. I think most things in this S tier are going to be like really expensive. So moving on. Danelectro. Danelectro is known for like their 60s guitars. The lipstick tube kind of looks like a Strat, the 3 single individual lipstick ones, like the Telecaster neck pickup, but across the board like a Strat. They're pretty cool. They're very unique, very specific. I wouldn't say they're necessarily, I mean, you could argue that they're versatile, right? You could argue any of these things are versatile. In my opinion, this whole video is about my opinions anyway. So, I think it's kind of a one-trick pony. I think they're good, but they're kind of like a one-trick pony. Danelectro, you're like a C. D'Angelico. Now, these guitars are amazing. The first time I ever played with them was at the Lock-In, formerly known as Interlochen Music Festival here in Virginia, jam band thing. And they had like a tent going up on Shakedown Street. It was really, really, really cool. Their unique takes on instruments, they've been around forever. I didn't realize that. And their headstock, the only thing I don't like about them is their headstock. I think that headstock is a little bit too gaudy for me. I'm a simple man, I guess. But quality and the sound are fantastic. I love the Bob Weir version. I forgot what it's called, but D'Angelico cemented in B. Fantastic for the money. Now, Dean guitars. Controversial. I'm going to put it at C. I like metal music. I used to be in a metal band, but I do not like Dean guitars. And I know, like, Dimebag Darrell is phenomenally known for playing Dean guitars. But my only true experience with a Dean guitar, of owning a Dean guitar, I should say, was an acoustic guitar that my mom bought right after my parents split up. And it was bright blue, and it looked gorgeous, but it sounded like complete trash. So I'm going to put a D, just because I said that, because I want to reserve C for, hey, I don't know a whole lot about you. Or you're very like a one-trick pony. No, the higher end Deans I know are good. I feel like the high ends are like amazing, right? But like, there's not like a middle ground. I'm going to put it at C. Just how it goes. All right, Dobro. For y'all who didn't know, Dobro is actually the name of the brand of the Resonator guitar, right? It's actually called the Resonator guitar, but Dobro, it's kind of like Band-Aids, right? Everybody calls it a Dobro. Very one-trick pony. Putting it at C because it's kind of a one-trick pony as well. They're good. If you play Resonator or you play slide, stuff like that, or you're looking for that single sound, it's kind of one-trick pony sound. One-trick pony, and and not a whole lot known about this. I'm keep on going back and forth on on C. C is utilitarian. All right, Duesenberg. Duesenberg, if you guys never heard of Duesenberg, they're incredible guitars. German made guitars, like anything German engineering. It's just fantastic, blown away. A lot of session guys, especially in Nashville, use them. Incredible instruments. Definitely S tier. Eastwood guitars. Eastwood guitars, they're kind of like entry level acoustic guitars. I think I have that right. If I have that wrong, I'm sorry. But just because it's kind of, a cheaper Eastwood, cheaper side of things, and they're like beginner friendly guitars. They're not bad by any means. They're just, not great. They help you get, involved in the guitar community. So D, sorry. Let me double check that before Eastwood. Watch me like some incredible, amazing guitar company. All right, so I got Eastwood confused with something else. Eastwood makes those very 60s style-ish guitars, right? And they also make some cool Grateful Dead style guitars too. I'm thinking of someone else, so I don't know a whole lot about Eastwood, so I'm gonna put that in the boring video for the C category. Epiphone. Now, Epiphone, I would have said 3 years ago would have been here. They're good, but the headstock always bothered me. I know that sounds so stupid, but it's weird seeing a Les Paul with a weird headstock like that. Now, granted, I know Epiphone has a long history that I think, correct me if I'm wrong, predates even Gibson. But lately, Epiphone has stepped up their game tremendously. I almost want to put them here because of how great they are as considered a knockoff or the discounted version of Gibson. I shouldn't say knockoff version because Gibson owns them, but and they changed the headstock. It's not entirely the same as Gibson, but it's a lot closer. It has a lot more resemblance there. The only thing I would say that holds it back is those Wildcats. Those are terrible guitars. I've never played a good one. So I'm going to put good for the money. Yeah. I want to mention something about the headstocks, but we'll do that when we get to the PRS. B, really good guitars, good for the money. Still blown away. Honestly, I don't know if a Gibson's worth it where Epiphone is right now. A good Epiphone, right? You're going to have some quality control there a little bit, but Epiphone is solidly in the B. ESP, another metal thing for you guys who are part of my country channel. Maybe not as familiar with ESPs. I like ESPs. Everyone I've picked up always felt good. It felt nice. I'm going to put solidly in the B category. I think there are some better metal versions that are the standard, I think, but ESP are pretty good guitars. Now, Fano guitars, a lot of hype around them lately. I know folks like Rhett Scholl does, plays a lot of them, and he kind of made the internet aware of them, I think, or at least in my eyes he did. I've never put my hands on them. I want to put it here, but I know they're extremely high quality guitars, so I'm going to put it up above Superior because everything that I've seen, it's not cheating. It might be cheating. Anyways, they're good instruments. Fender is the standard. I think in every way, shape, and form. I was disappointed with their Ultra line, but that's neither here nor there. You gotta take some risks sometimes. But Fender is the golden standard for instruments, and that ranges the whole. I know Squire's on here too, but Fender really ranges from $100, and it's still quality all the way up to their custom shop, which is just incredible. So Fender, I believe, is the golden standard of guitar manufacturers. Framus are good. They're good guitars. I think they're a little bit overpriced, in my personal opinion, but they are good guitars. Good guitars. G&L. G&L is good guitars as well. Now, G&L is the company that Leo Fender started after he sold Fender to CBS, I believe, and they're good guitars. They're not widely available. I know Jake Siniger from Umphreys McGee, if you're in the jam band world, plays one, and I mean, he rips on it. The ones that I've played felt great. They're good guitars. I can't really say anything bad about them. Gibson. See, this is where my dilemma is with the Epiphone. Quality control on Gibson has improved dramatically since they had the new Caesar come on. I think. At least that's just the ones that I've got in my local guitar shops and the ones at the Guitar Center nearby me. For the while, they were always the gold standard too. They fell off when they tried to become a media company. Personal opinion, though I think a lot of you guys would probably agree. It feels wrong having Gibson the same level as Epiphone. I mean, Gibson has turned their ship around, I believe, truly, and gold standard. I think Gibson is finally back to their golden standard of this is what guitar players want. They want a 50s version or a 60s version of their iconic guitars, and they want a cheap, junior budget friendly as well. So, yeah, gold standard. Gibson's finally back. Gretsch. Gretsch is one of those that are owned by Epiphone. By Fender. I like Gretsch's. They're kind of they all kind of look the same. They all kind of sound the same, I think. They're good guitars. I don't think they're the gold standard that they were like back in like when Chet Atkins came up with his signature, but I like them. Guild. Guild's a good guitar company. I only know a few of them. I haven't played a whole lot of them, so I'm going to put them in the C category. Harley Benton. These are your, and I just gave that away. These are kind of your cheap knockoff guitars that are made from overseas, East Asia. I've never played a whole lot of them. The ones I have played, they're okay. They're not terrible. They're not terrible. They're not great. So, if you're looking for cheap, you get what you pay for. Ibanez. Like I mentioned with the ESP, there are some superior metal guitars out there. Ibanez is definitely one of them. I think Ibanez is the gold standard when it comes to that type of guitar. Pointy, hot rod. Jackson, I think is kind of in between, kind of on the ESP level. Good guitars. I wouldn't say they're the golden standard. Now Kiesel, I'd put Kiesel as the gold standard for customization. I think they're on the same level as Ibanez in terms of like sound and quality and build quality. Personal opinion. Come at me if you disagree. But I think from like a customization, like you get what you want, like a custom shop, definitely a gold standard. Kramer. Did I get Kramer and Charvel wrong? No, not really. Kramer, I mean, it's popular in the 80s. It's it's a hair metal brand, but anyway, Michael Kelly, they look appealing. I've never really played one, so I want to put it here just because I can't imagine the quality is as comparable, and they have like that that Z-neck or whatever. That seems like a gimmick. I don't know. I've never played one, so I'm gonna put it as C. I don't know. Let me know if you played a Michael Kelly guitar. I'm curious. Ernie Ball, Music Man. Superior. Ernie Ball is the superior Fender offshoot. They're fantastic. I have a Sterling. It's the Sterling Robinson. It's the guy from All That Remains. And it's a Sterling version. It's a Sterling Cutlass version. It is like the Squier equivalent, or maybe it's more like the S2 equivalent, PRS S2 equivalent. They're incredible. They are incredible. Every Ernie Ball guitar I've played, the neck is perfect. It is perfect. Superior. I think it is the superior of superior guitars. Everyone's a hit. By far, superior. Oh, PRS. This is going to be controversial. It's superior. Out of the big three, Fender, Gibson, and PRS is, in my mind, the superior manufacturer. Now, I play Telecaster mostly. Fender's the gold standard. Gibson's slightly less than Fender, I think, and PRS, just everything they do. I love everything that they do. I love everything that they make. PRS is a superior guitar company. It is the superior big three guitar manufacturer. Rickenbacker. I want to put it in C because I don't really care for them. But they're good guitars. They're good basses. I'm not a fan of the Beatles. I'm sorry. I like Tom Petty. That's probably sacrilegious. Anyways, they're good guitars. Santa Cruz. Anytime you know Brad Paisley has a custom guitar with you, they're superior. They're fantastic acoustic guitars. Squier. Squiers, I'm going to put them as B. Squiers are fantastic guitars. If you know what you're looking for and you know what you want, you can find some incredible Squiers. It's all in the neck. Everything else can be changed. Everything can be changed, right? But for me, Squiers are all in the necks, and when you find a good one, it's a great guitar. Takamine. Takamine's okay. Yeah, I mean, they're good acoustics. They're not my favorite. I don't think they're great. Country artists use them. Particularly well-known one by the name of Garth Brooks has some signature ones. I've never played that one, but the ones that I have played, they're okay. Not my favorite. Taylor. I'm going to put Taylor up here in A. Taylor guitars, I think they are fantastic. I like the sound of Martin's better. I think most people can say that. But the electronics on a Taylor, I think, are better than the Martin. If you find a Martin with electronics, but standard for acoustic guitars, the gold standard right there. Tom Anderson guitars, fantastic guitars. I'd put them up there with the Collins guitars. I think that I kind of tend to think Collins is more of the Gibson style, and Tom Anderson's kind of more of the Fender-y style of superior versions of those two companies. That's a very, very blanketed statement there, but that's how I feel. I love Tom Anderson's. I've loved every single one I've played. Washburn. Washburns are good guitars. I really wanted a hollow body Washburn for years in college because I wanted to be like John Bell from the Widespread Panic, but Washburns are good for the price. Hard to beat. Yamaha. Yamaha, also really, really good guitars. Really, really good guitars. They're not expensive, but the quality control is pretty awesome. Is it going to blow you away? Probably not, but it's going to be a good guitar. And then last but not least, Zematis. If you're not familiar with Zematis, it was a Japanese company, or it is a Japanese company, but it was by a Japanese artist who would make mosaics on the front of like Les Pauls. Look up Rich Robinson from the Blackberry Smoke, from the Black Crowes has a few. Look at him playing live. Joe Perry also has some too. The guys from Buck Cherry also have that. Don't ask me how I know that. I went through a Buck Cherry phase. Awesomely gorgeous guitars. I don't know what they like. Back in the day, I would definitely say S, but I have looked on their prices and they seem to be cheaper. That's because the main guy is not there anymore. So I don't know what those controls look like anymore. But I would still love one. They're gorgeous guitars. I don't know what the quality or what they sound like these days, but yeah, if you're interested in checking them out, the Black Crowes, Chris Robinson from like I want to say like the 90s, like late 90s, he had one. Buck Cherry guys have them, and Joe Perry. Joe Perry also has them too. So that is my guitar tier list. If there's a manufacturer that you don't see on here and you're like, what the heck, bro? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know where you think that manufacturer would stack up amongst these peers here. Let me know if you think this list is full of crock of baloney or not. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. It's a little fun. It's whatever guitar you have is the best guitar you can have. So as long as you have a guitar in your hands, that's all that really matters. So check out this video over there. No, over there. check out this video over there. It's what YouTube thinks you're going to like the most. I'll see you over there. And until then, let the music play.